I've been thinking a lot lately about why I felt stuck for such a long time. And honestly, it wasn't because I didn't want to change. One of the biggest reasons was that I simply didn't know how. I think most people want to change. The problem is, life slowly gets built around survival. So, how do we actually start changing it? I found that life slowly got in the way, and eventually I reached a point where I felt exhausted. Like many people, I became very busy with obligations. My week looked something like this: working on the job running a cleaning business, working administration and paperwork, working budgeting, marketing, working bookkeeping and invoicing, scheduling appointments. And weekends became working, mowing, house maintenance and repairs, working helping with my wife's pet business. At night, website design, research, or collapse and watch TV. I realise being constantly busy leaves no mental space for creativity or change, or even just enjoying life. I got stuck in what I call obligation loops, and slowly, over time, I lost connection with the parts of myself that actually made me feel alive. The things that gave me excitement, joy, creativity, spontaneity. Like most people, I got caught in the practicality of modern life: bills, responsibilities, pressure. And slowly, life became built around obligation. Western culture tends to prioritize productivity, and that's not so bad, but eventually that became my identity. Over time, that can create anxiety, sometimes even guilt for taking time for yourself. That led me to realize something important. If your life constantly drains your energy, change starts to feel impossible. And honestly, I had barely scheduled any time for myself at all. I had often questioned whether motivation was my problem. But it wasn't. It was my thoughts around money and success, time and energy that had influenced my decisions and behaviour that led to this life I had created. I'm not saying it was all bad. I just wasn't happy with how some things had turned out. So I started paying attention to my behaviour to identify patterns or habits and my reactions to people or life challenges. I started restructuring how I spent my time by creating a weekly calendar and scheduling time for things I actually wanted to do, slowly reducing obligations I had taken on over the years without even noticing. I needed to create an environment that actually supported what I wanted, simplify my life to protect my energy. Regularly scheduling things I wanted to do actually gave me more energy rather than draining it. I remember reflecting on something a teacher once said about my father. He said, "I remember your dad when he was building the new school block, like an Energizer battery running around all day trying to get everything done." Shortly after, while on a job, I suddenly stopped and noticed I was doing exactly the same thing, rushing around trying to finish faster, anxiety at an all-time high. It just made me realize how much I had unconsciously become like him. Not in a bad way, just unknowingly taken on some of his habits or mindset. When you're young, you absorb behaviors and beliefs without even realizing it. Then I started to wonder what else had I unwittingly taken on board. My dad's main goal in life was to work hard and support the family, which I respect deeply. But looking back now, I realize how much time we lost together because of it. And being a productive person a lot of the time had become my identity. Along the way, I had started believing my value as a person came from productivity, whether from family or social values. it doesn't really matter. However, that awareness helped me to start changing my behaviour. I started slowing down deliberately, doing things more methodically, and strangely enough, work became smoother and a lot less stressful. I would do things like go for a swim before mowing the lawn, some creative work before bookkeeping, or listening to music before jobs around the house. And that helped me a lot. I now think change doesn't come from motivation. Change can come from structure. Structure to start doing what you want, and structure to stop doing what you don't want. Not knowing that had led me to develop some unhealthy habits to help me cope, but weren't helping me grow. Every night I'd sit down and have a few drinks, trying to release some of the pressure and unwind. When reflecting on that, it occurred that I had created a pressure prison, and some drinks at night was my escape plan. I realised I had to start to consciously change the way I thought. I began writing down the thoughts I wanted to reinforce. I recorded them on my phone and played them while going to sleep at night. It became a way of consistently reinforcing the mindset I wanted to build. Then slowly, I started making small changes. I cut one day of work from my schedule to free up some time. I felt guilty doing it, like I should be working harder, longer, to earn more money. But I knew if I didn't change, I'd never build the life I actually wanted. I watched a motivational video about changing your energy as a way to help make change. And while the word energy can sound a little bit new age, there's actually truth in it. Exercise can change your state very quickly. It can change your energy. I started small, just walking for 15 minutes in the lounge room while following a YouTube video. Then on weekends, I started scheduling a game of golf with my older brother or friends. Honestly, it felt like a small holiday, playing a round of golf for a few hours, focused on nothing except hitting that little white ball around the course. But more importantly, reconnecting with the people I wanted to spend more time with. People I like, people who are successful in their own life. I was trying to align my actions with a new belief. Work doesn't always have to come first. Living should come first. I wasn't perfect at doing this. Sometimes I procrastinated. Sometimes it rained, so I couldn't go to golf. Sometimes I filled weekends with work again instead. Sometimes I worked first on days off before doing something more fun that I really wanted to do. And that was okay. But slowly I am becoming more consistent, and I realised something important. Small changes are easier to repeat, and repeated small changes slowly start changing who you are. Fun or enjoyable things are easier to do consistently. So if you want to exercise more, do something you enjoy. The options are almost endless. Lasting change often starts with changing the story that you tell yourself about who you are. That becomes your identity. So I started telling myself a story about my future self. Things he might say, such as, I respect and care for my health and body by exercising and eating a healthy diet. I am a person who rarely drinks. I schedule time for fun and laughter. I am allowed to enjoy life before work. I am allowed to earn money through creativity. I am transitioning away from heavy physical work. These are some of the things I wanted, just a few examples. And also, I did some for things I didn't want to. I haven't become a completely different person overnight, just slowly becoming a better version. No dramatic transformation, Just small, consistent changes. And I started noticing that the more I do that, the easier it becomes. Just slowly becoming someone different. And eventually, your identity begins to shift.